You know that one of the most popular videos here on the Royal Rogue has been my South Park remarks. My remarks about the South Park parody video was so great. So great. I have to confess. I still watch that episode of South Park of the sausages of this stupid you know what, like every once in a while, like every 6 months I review it, because I typically check the stats of my Royal Rogue channel, and I realize, oh no, I need to watch that again to remember those differences. That was pure gold. That was comedy gold. That was parody gold, and I don't think that Meghan or Harry took that quietly. I remember that I made a video about that as well. And Family Guy already had made a parody of them once a while ago, and they did it again. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are mocked by Family Guy as cartoon compares their marriage to Hitler and the Crusades. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have been mocked by cartoon Family Guy with the show comparing their marriage to Hitler and the Crusades. In an episode from the newest series of the animated satire, main characters Stewie and Brian Griffin go back in time and speak to Mark Twain, author of Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. The characters discuss how history pretty much sucks before listing several instances, including but not limited to Nazi dictator Adolf Hitler, the medieval wars in the Middle East, and the former royal's marriage. The scene then cuts away to Prince Harry, sat at home on the sofa, who moans again, before telling the camera that the audience's wives are no better. This is not the first time the sausages have fallen victim to Seth MacFarlane's cartoon satire, and in 2023 were savage as work-shy grifters being paid by Netflix for no one knows what. You know that? Remember that they were like lying beside a pool or something? In the latest clip, which aired this week, Stewie and Brian Griffin travel back in time. We already saw that. And well, this is a screenshot of that. What is going on with this? I was just realizing yesterday, when I was making yesterday's video, when I was mentioning that Harry's Polo documentary had around 500,000 views, like 500,000 views. And that in terms of YouTube is nothing. I could say that that is the more or less the amount of views that I get on my Royal Rogue channel, not even my main channel, the Battle Language Guy, but on my Royal Rogue channel in a week. So I'm nobody, and I'm one-man band in here, and they travel all over the world with all this equipment and trying to craft this storyline, making this for just 500,000 views. That's pathetic, but there's strategy behind that. There's strategy behind the way that Ted Sarandos says that Meghan is his rock star, and it's still a matter of attention. It's a matter of attention because you could say, oh, right, so they've been parodied by South Park, by Family Guy, and we have those words in our minds for some time. For example, South Park, we always remember South Park. And I can guess that many people that, are into the royals and the non-royals as well cannot make a distinction between South Park and Family Guy. It's no big deal. That sometimes I have trouble telling them apart. It can happen. But it's about, they were being parodied about this mainstream shows. That is one thing. And this mainstream shows, one of them is South Park. And you have then South Park, and you have South Park in your mind. So it's having Netflix in your mind. Netflix has nothing to do with South Park, but the fact that they are Netflix, and the Polo documentary was on Netflix, and the fact that it flopped, I'm pretty sure there are many other shows that flopped harder than Harry's Polo documentary. But the fact that this is Harry's Polo documentary, it means that it's gonna be news. It's gonna be in the news. And the fact that Meghan's show it is 383 in the rankings, almost not in the first 400 shows of 2025, doesn't matter, because people are talking about Meghan's downfall and people are talking about Netflix. What is Ted Sarandos and what is Netflix doing with them? and people think about Netflix. And you might be having the argument that I sometimes see in the comments, and you will have a point if you say, but the way to make them go away is to just not talk about them. And well, I just recorded a video about that couple, that CEO and that HR head that went to a Coldplay concert and were caught having an affair in front of, well, the internet. And you have to understand that the same way that they have to face the consequences of the internet, of being very public figures in a very infamous way right now, Harry and Meghan are still and are always going to be very public figures in a very infamous way, no matter how much we try to not talk about them. It's always going to be. It's like watching the road accident. I think there's a more disturbing way of saying that. I just want to be a bit polite about that. It's like watching the road accident. You cannot just look away. You have to look into that. It's like that sense of how lower can they go. And Meghan never disappoints. Meghan did the belly dancing and all the stuff. I have to say she puts in the work lately, as of late, to be really controversial. Not gonna lie, excellent keynote, excellent shows, excellent content for my channel. The problem is that the internet is not going to make them disappear. The internet is not going to stop talking about them. That is not going to happen. That's not how the internet works. That's not how mass communications, how mass influence not from them, from us, the viewers, because this is like a bit of like quantum mechanics. We influence what is being observed. In this case, Meghan and Harry, we are in this cycle, and Netflix is profiting in one way or another out of it. Why? It's very simple. Because, okay, Meghan was in the spot number 383, but invariably you see that, for example, in the Daily Fail, you're going to see the countdown of what were the top 10 shows of Netflix, and you're going to know that the first one was Adolescence, and the second and third one was Squid Game 2 and 3, respectively. All right. So that is interesting. And you at least will have, just by finding out that Meghan's show flopped, you are thinking about Netflix, and you, in an indirect way, you're going to find out about the must-watch shows in the first half of 2025 on Netflix. So in one way or another, Netflix is getting the exposure for their shows. Oh, that is a solid strategy, I would say. I can tell you that at some point, the Royal Rogue said that this could run out of steam at some point for Netflix. But after I saw the flop, and after I saw how it was reviewed and how it was mentioned other shows in those reports, I said, all right, so it is a win no matter what. If the show does well, it would be a win for Netflix, but Netflix doesn't care if the show goes well or not. Netflix only cares if the show is made. All right? Because even the bad reviews is going to give exposure to Netflix. Maybe Ted Sarandos is playing 4D, 5D chess here. I have no idea, but I did notice the way it was reviewed everywhere, especially the Harry Spolo documentary. So I could brag all that I want about having more views than Harry's, about having more views than Meghan's show. But the fact is that, of course, they will get all the attention. Netflix sign up Meghan and Harry for a reason. Maybe they are not gonna sign me, and I'm too expensive for them. I'm really happy here with you. This is not less complicated life. I can say whatever. I think that Meghan can say whatever she wants, but she doesn't dare to. That is sad. That is sad. Meghan would want to speak her mind, say that, well, she married a gingerbread, a totally blockhead, And a wonker, we could say, oh, did I say the W word? Oh my God, I thought that this channel was family friendly, but you understand how this works. And sadly, they are parodied. We are exposed to them again and again. The internet is not going to stop talking about them. And the only thing that I can do is to try to explain. It's like the body language guy. You remember that body language analysis, the statement analysis. I try to analyze. I find this. What is Netflix's plan? And after making yesterday's video about Megan's show, Falling in 383, I realized, yeah, that's it. I can recall, even if I don't watch Netflix, I just watch Netflix for anime. That's a fact. Even if I don't watch any other shows on Netflix, only the anime stuff, I know which the first rankings are. Oh, maybe I could make a video about adolescence. I should have made a video about adolescence when it came out, and again, it would be more exposure. It would be me having an opinion, a negative opinion, but an opinion nonetheless. So in the end, this is a game. This is a game of attention, and my job is not only make the memes and mock them and you know, make all these delicious words we have for them, the sausages, which is the most important, made for that caption that went rogue on a live stream. One of the best mistakes we've had in a long time, but also call out what is going on. I think that this is what's going on. I think this is Netflix's plan, and maybe they will find out any other way. The problem is that it is the same like with Spotify. Both Netflix and Spotify a few years back sat down both with Meghan and Harry and tried to have many ideas, and Meghan said no to a lot of things, and Harry, well, they couldn't find something for Harry to do because, well, Harry. I think that is going on right now, and I think that's why they are so pushing to build this bridge with King Charles again. I think there are other creators that know what is going behind palace walls much better than me. That is their edge, and I invite you to, well, make your own mind about what is going on. But I think that Meghan is, of course, trying to weaponize Harry one last time, or the newest time, as a puppet to get some kind of a grace from King Charles. But at the same time, Charles knows that, well, has been a lot of, let's say, grief in the sense of what Harry has done to the family. There's a lot of conflict. I have never thought for a second that there are conflicts between King Charles and Prince William. So many people trying to make up that stuff. I don't believe that for a second. I have no proof, but no doubts either that they are in good terms, the King Charles and Prince William. And I'm pretty sure that King Charles also listens to William because, well, it should be some kind of feedback, right? I'm pretty sure that there can be some kind of feedback. And they both know what Harry has done. And they both know that Harry, even being a muppet, well, he could have stopped Meghan, and he didn't. So he made his choice, like the CEO and HR head couple, they made their choice. Harry made his choice. You made your bed. It's time to lie in it. But again, after all this, I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue. And remember to check my merch that is right here below this video. Much love and bliss.